What's up, everybody? My name is Jesse Wysong, back with another riveting segment of how to increase your bench press. Um, let's take these off. Your shit's about to get real. I'm just kidding. It's a little dark in here in my office. All right. First thing I want to point out for how to increase your bench press, this part 2 video, is you want to focus on your weak points. I can't stress that enough. If you're weak in lockout, don't be focusing on doing lower pin presses, trying to get more explosive on the chest. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, you battle lockout, will just get better on the chest and you'll just explode right through it. That's really not true. I mean, if your weak point is really the lockout and you're failing your lift the last 2 or 3 inches of it, you're never going to get enough explosiveness on the chest to compensate for that. It's not going to happen. What you're going to want to do is you're going to start doing rack lockouts. You're going to start focusing, maybe high pin presses, stuff like that. Basically, just wherever your weak point is, focus on that part of your lift. Do partials. If your weak point's on the bottom, do partials down there. Do a lower pin press. Focus on the eccentric from the chest up. It's pretty much that. That's a simple thing, but a lot of people overlook that. And if they don't overlook that, then they're not applying it correctly, and they're not implementing it in the way it should be. Number 2 is you want to specialize in your lift. I mean, really, this should be number 1. If your main goal is to get a big bench press, your main goal is your bench press, then make it your main goal. Don't be bench pressing last when you're tired. Don't bench press less days than you do squats. I mean, if you have to, dedicate 6 months to doing nothing but bench press. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, and oh, you gotta squat, bro. You're not squatting, you're not lifting. Most people that say that have a decent squat, but a really shitty bench press. It's just a fact of the matter. Fact of the matter is it doesn't matter, because once you specialize in that lift and you get good at it, then you can maintain that lift by only lifting once a week. And then you can specialize in something else, and that's gonna fly up. And eventually all these haters that say, oh, you don't have a big squat, bro. Well, they're not gonna be able to say shit, because you're gonna have a giant squat and a giant bench press. It's the way it is. The third point I'd like to point out is, for a beginner, you don't want to jump right into heavy weights, a high intensity program, because that's just a recipe for disaster. Not only are you not needing to do that because you're a novice, you're going to get noob gains anyway, but you're increasing your chance for injury. I mean, you're at a big risk there because you don't have a lot of experience performing the movement, and therefore you can get injured when you go heavy like that. The best program for a novice will be a high frequency, low intensity program. Something to where you do, sub-maximal weights at the highest, and, like a dynamic effort type weight, 65% of your max on the low spectrum. And you just want to do a high frequency, lots and lots of workout days. It's safe to bench press 5, 6, even 7 days a week if you do it correctly, and you're not going high intensity if you're not used to it. There's a lot of people that do high intensity, and they do it every day, but that's because they've got many reps under their belt. They've practiced this. Practice makes perfect. Bruce Lee said it himself. He fears not the man that's practiced 10,000 techniques one time. He fears the man that's practiced one technique 10,000 times. I promise you, when you've got 10,000 reps under your belt of bench pressing with any weights, you're not going to be worried about bench pressing heavy weights anymore. You're just going to be bench pressing. It's going to be easy. Number 4, rest times. A lot of people, they advocate really short rest periods. I don't. If your main goal is training for strength and you want to get a heavy bench press, then I wouldn't have short rest periods. I mean, maybe if it's a short rest period specific thing, spider trying to get me. You know, if you're trying to modify the density of your workout and do like rest pause sets, then that's a completely different story. But if your main goal for that workout of that day is to get heavy weights, you're trying to get the most reps you can get in today, you're trying to make a PR somehow, you know, a rep PR, a max PR, whatever it is, you want to have a decent rest period. And for me, that's between 5 to 7 minutes on my working sets. On your warm up sets, I wouldn't go any lower than 3 minutes. Any lower than 3 minute rest times, and that's not a warm up set anymore, that's a working set. Um, that's pretty much it for today's segment.